Society seems to be obsessed with women, from Morgan Le Fay, Marilyn Monroe, Britney Spears, to now Billie Eilish. Our fascination has shifted from viewing them as women to these majestic beings that need to appeal to the male gaze. Although this issue is brought in mainstream media, its roots stem back to a common trope known as the femme fatale. According to Penny Flores' article for MS Films, the femme fatale of film noir uses her sexual attractiveness and ruthless cunning to manipulate men in order to gain power, independence, money, or all three at once. She rejects conventional roles of a devoted wife and a loving mother that mainstream society prescribes for women, and in the end, her transgression of societal norms leads her to her own destruction and the destruction of the men who are attracted to her. In relating this to gender, it reinforces the idea of women being ultra feminine for their own vindication. This trope is quite powerful and gives women more agency in stories. Across cinema, we've seen many depictions of wealthy and poor characters, but many do not capture it accurately, and Boys Over Flowers is one of the few anime where it does it some justice. Tsukushi Makino is among the lower middle class, with her family pushing her to attend the prestigious Eitoku Academy to help her family financially and their reputation once she graduates. She is a normal student wanting to have a peaceful and quiet high school experience by flying under the radar. This tranquility, however, is disrupted when she receives a red card from the F4, which are the popular rich boys whose families are heads of huge conglomerates. Side note, KJT's review on the anime states there's a saying in Japan, Hanayori Dango, that literally means dumplings before flowers, which is a connotation that a girl would rather prefer practical things like dumplings over frivolities like flowers. This meaning is early echoed in Tsukushi's behavior and aligns with the ideologies of the femme fatale. The "I'm not like other girls" narrative pervades how we view the femme fatale, someone that is alluring and unique from the rest. The Makino household is quite small. From the dining room table to their clothes, Boys Over Flowers does not miss an opportunity to examine the class gap. Tsukushi often borrows clothes from Shizuka when she goes for an outing, as her style would be too middle class in the face of Eitoku students. This is shown when Shizuka invites Tsukushi to attend a party on Tsukasa's boat and takes her in as a little sister, who both are reflected as the femme fatale. The layers. Shizuka's hourglass figure, coupled with her chestnut hair, made her a prime target for men. She constantly feels suffocated from her environment, as she was often compared to a flower, growing from the roots into something beautiful. Her behavior insinuates her to be this perfect woman. However, her sensual energy around Ryu starts her descent into becoming the femme fatale. Despite the age gap between them, she constantly tells Ryu how much she cares for him. At one point, Ryu and Shizuka have snacks, with Shizuka being dominant. If Tsukushi's femininity is new and intriguing to men, then Shizuka is the original. After graduating Eitoku, Shizuka studies abroad in France and becomes a model. Like the F4, she came from loads of wealth from her family. However, unlike the other girls at Eitoku, she didn't flaunt her wealth. Instead, used it to pave a future for herself and create something that she wants for her own ambition. Later in the season, she decides she wants to be a lawyer in France and cuts her hair as a sign of rebellion and rejecting hyperfemininity that society wanted her to be. She says that her long hair and voluptuous body weren't conducive to her development as a woman. Posing for the camera and keeping her reputation put a huge burden on her. This piqued Tsukushi's curiosity and discovered that she could be whatever she wanted to be. Instead of the attention she was receiving from the F4 or Shizuka, she found herself not wanting to be held back because of her social class and her gender. We all knew that this was going to be mentioned. This show's main issue is that women have to appeal to the male gaze. Why did Tsukushi have to accept Tsukasa after he assaulted her on multiple occasions? Thus chaos was born. After Tsukushi accidentally kissed Tsukasa on the boat party, Tsukasa decides that she is the one. Hegemonic masculinity pervades throughout all the men. If you're going to be on my channel, you are going to know what hegemonic masculinity is. Hegemonic masculinity describes a position in the systems of gender relations, the system itself, and the current ideology that it serves to reproduce masculine domination. The term hegemonic means placing dominance onto someone without realizing that you're doing it. In patriarchal society, men are the embodiment of physical power. Tsukasa's tall, slim, yet muscular physique is the epitome of how this anime views men in power. The femme fatale often is shown seducing these type of characters, but Tsukushi offsets this by not engaging with Tsukasa beyond an acquaintance means. Tsukasa continues to badger Tsukushi, but his most prominent hegemonic behavior is the protective nature he has over any man engaging with Tsukushi. He operates as if he was a helicopter parent, not allowing Tsukushi to explain herself even though he just enters these situations without any prior knowledge about what's going on with Tsukushi. It is not until later in the show that he starts to realize that Tsukushi knows what she's doing. Tsukushi is extremely naive and oblivious. That much is obvious, but it was clear that she was forced into a relationship because of what Tsukasa allegedly did for her. The fact that they ended up together kind of left me empty. It wasn't that Tsukasa was a bad man, but he just wasn't the right person for Tsukushi. But maybe this is a hot take. I think that if someone wants to spruce up their potential significant other in order for them to be romantically involved with them, that's probably red flag number one. But the fact that the writers frame Tsukasa in this way, that
oh no, he didn't abuse his authority and he didn't take advantage of Tsukushi and he didn't manipulate her,
is so irresponsible because he did do all of those things. In the book, Cultural Constructions of the Femme Fatale, Stevie Simkin talks about how women excite feelings of desire in a heterosexual male. On the other hand, she excites fear. Tsukushi's behavior both attracted and scared Tsukasa. On one hand, we can see Tsukasa like Tsukushi, but on the other hand, he is fearful that she is not what he is acceptable for his rich and wealthy family. Rui shifts this slightly with how he views Tsukushi. He at first wants nothing to do with her and allows her to watch him play the violin. Tsukushi loved Ryu from the first moment their eyes met, and like any person in love, they chase after them until they give in. This ultimately leads to how similar Tsukushi and Tsukasa behave, thus making their relationship acceptable. Rui takes advantage of Tsukushi's feelings when he ended things with Shizuka because of her busy life in France as being a university student. Rui's aloof presence gives a mysterious vibe that some women seem to be into, but avoids the fact that he views women in a similar way that Tsukasa does. In the manga, it appears that Shizuka married a French attorney and did not get together with Ryu, which for that, I am grateful. The male gaze in general is very convoluted, and throughout the show, we see how Tsukushi actively trying to figure herself out, but ultimately has to have this relationship with one of the F4 because she wants to have a future and knows that her financial self-worth, in a sense, is not enough for her to keep herself happy, which contradicts her peaceful and calm school life that she initially wanted at the start of the show. The women in this show portray a variety of themes regarding beauty. Plastic surgery is the most visible. Sakurako's character briefly introduces this topic under the aesthetic surgery, which is performing a surgical procedure for aesthetic purposes. In this article on the evolution on the rhabdectomy, the buccal circlage technique involves a series on 3 separate suspension sutures to lift the neck, lower the face, and improve the jawline. In taking a look at Sakurako's appearance, she fits this description pretty well. She was often made fun of for her appearance, called ugly and a freak, which destroyed her sense of worth as a woman. In wanting to grab Tsukasa's attention, she got surgery in order for him to see her through a different different lens. Her actions following the surgery paint her as the villain of the story, when she clearly was the victim of societal standards of beauty for women. Japanese beauty standards wanted an innocent, fair, skin-toned face that symbolizes outer beauty. It is sad that in rich private schools such as Eitoku Academy, your social standing is determined by how people perceive your facial beauty. This doesn't excuse her malicious intentions, which is a byproduct of the femme fatale. Mercure explains how the femme fatale is a character who is beautiful and manipulative, cold and calculating, one who knows how to use her femininity in a way that can destroy men. This is very interesting considering that Sakurako tells Tsukushi that she is afraid of men, yet gets plastic surgery to attract Tsukasa into becoming his girlfriend. I know she says this in order to get Tsukushi away from Tsukasa, but you get the idea. She plays pretend throughout the entire show to anyone that she comes in contact with. This is shown when she bullies some girls at a party and states how their looks are extremely disgusting and they look like her vulgar language shows how her outer beauty does not mean you are a beautiful person on the inside. As cliche as it sounds, when you get surgery, you often have more insecurities about how you feel, since it's based on the surgery that should make yourself feel beautiful, which in general is so insidious to think that surgery is empowering for women when it clearly is not. Which is the main problem in this show. Even though Tsukushi's attitude and appearance is portrayed as beautiful, it demonizes ultra-feminine women if they concern themselves with their outward appearance. The femme fatale trope is usually viewed in a negative context because society feels that women can't think of themselves in a sensual manner. This is absolutely wild, as anyone should be able to express themselves without it being looked as taboo. But it shows how external beauty is heavily prevalent in modern day life and how someone views beauty and appearance. The femme fatale has allowed women to liberate themselves from the white supremacist eugenicist thinking. Beyond being an anti-feminist and pushing gender stereotypes, this trope is a complex archetype for exposing the worst parts of misogyny or a way to empower women instead of appealing to the male gaze. With Boys Over Flowers using the "I'm not like other girls" trend to appeal to a wider audience, it enhances the shoujo and josei genre to not only appeal to girls and women but also to men as well. It pushes the desire to escape patriarchal desires and allows women more agency in their character development. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you all in my next one.